In the back segment tonight, Fox News analyst and Republican strategist Karl Rove just heard the Trump interview. He joins us now from Austin. So here's my question. I don't expect you to analyze Mr. Trump's positions on issues. I mean, that doesn't get us anywhere. But he's an outsider. He's got a lot of resume problems in the sense that he's certainly, as Frank Sinatra once sung and Paul Anka wrote, did it his way. In his way, not the traditional way, no doubt. All right. So he comes into the political spectrum. Does he have, in this climate now, all right, does he have enough cachet or enough credibility to get the Republican Party to back him?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the strengths, the pros, and the cons of a Trump candidacy. You saw them tonight. Straightforward, simple, strong explanations that make common sense. He expressed, that he's changed his opinion, in this instance on the life question, and at the same time he was able to show respect for the opinions of people with whom he disagreed, like Governor Walker. He showed a little bit of policy, which you might not expect of a first-time candidate. For example, on health care, where he started off saying how to be able to buy across state lines. This is a bill sponsored by John Shattuck of Arizona. And he comes across as what he is, not political. That's the strengths. The cons are he's very thin on policy, and people are going to want to know what are you going to do. He has to be very careful about this tendency that a lot of first-time candidates have of unintentionally exaggerating. Oh, they're doing nothing on the border. Well, they're doing a lot on the border. Acknowledge what they're doing on the border, but be specific about what they're not doing on the border. Oh, the Iraqis hate us. They want us gone. No, the Iraqis want a permanent U.S. presence in the country. They got to find a way to sort of maneuver themselves on it. And at times he comes across as the rich guy who thinks he's really rich and really smart. When you tell people I went to the best college and I had good grades and I'm really worth a lot of money, it's different than having gone to a good college and gotten good grades and be worth a lot of money. The first grades, the second is a fact. He can't change the facts, but he can avoid making it great. But Bill, we're sitting here looking at strengths and weaknesses. Let's step back, because there's one big unanswered question. He runs a very successful television program, The Apprentice, and people come and interview for a job with him. When you run for president, you're interviewing for a job, first with Republicans and independents who vote in the Republican primaries, and then with the American people. And the question is he going to be willing to do what is necessary out there and shake hands in Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina? I asked him that,
and on Friday we're going to get into that. It's pretty funny. But, look, he is what they call a true believer. I mean, when he says something, he believes it. So he believes that the Iraqis hate us. What do you hear tomorrow? He talks about Iraq and what we should do in Iraq right now. I'm not going to tell everybody what it is, but it is so outrageous what Donald Trump says. If I'm president, I'm going to do this in Iraq. And when you hear it, your head will snap back. So he believes it. I mean, he's not a phony, what he's putting forward. But in this climate right now, where we have a relatively inexperienced president, Barack Obama, who came out of nowhere, was not, he was a party player, but he didn't really have a very good resume compared to most Democrats that ran against him, including Hillary Clinton. Okay? I don't know. I think in America today, people are so fed up, so angry, that a guy like that might be able to break through, because he's going to blow the other ones right off the stage unless the other ones go after him.
Well, remember what it took. It took a Hillary Clinton campaign that had absolutely no message except, you owe it to me. I put up with the guy for 8 years in the White House, and now it's my turn. That was her message. And Obama got by her. And as you remember, between March and June, Hillary Clinton got more votes than Barack Obama did. He won the nomination because he won those early caucus states, not because everybody fell in love with him. And then in the general election, he beat John McCain was ahead until the meltdown 6 weeks out before the election with the financial crisis, but he ran a lousy campaign. So most of the time, even novices. Remember Ronald Reagan? He was that not very smart actor from California. Well, he'd been the governor of the biggest state in the union for 8 years, California. So Americans do want their presidents, by and large. They want them to be people who can get things done and have experience. That's going to be Trump's big disadvantage going into this election, because people are going to be looking back and saying, we got the guy without the experience who said the things that sounded good, and guess what? That hasn't worked out for us too well.
All right, so experience, you believe, is going to matter. Now, is Trump making a mistake with the birther deal? It gets him a hell of a lot of attention.
Huge.
Wait. Let me frame it. Let me frame it. It gets Trump a lot of attention. He knows the Republican base thinks this issue is suspicious. He knows that. All right, the rabid Republican base, the right wing, likes the issue because they feel there's something there. All right, it's an easy issue for him to put forth. It gets him an enormous amount of attention. So what's the downside?
Well, first of all, I disagree with your assumption. The right-wing base of the Republican Party, I'm part of that right-wing base, is not in love with the issue of birthers. I mean, there is an element inside the Republican Party and outside the Republican Party that's fallen in love with this, but the vast majority of Republicans and the vast majority of Americans accept that he's a U.S. citizen and capable of being president. And this is a distraction. And to the degree that he said, to the troubling thing in the interview tonight was he said, as time has gone on here over the last couple of weeks, he's become more interested and more believing in the issue. When he first brought it up, he said, of course I accept that he's a citizen. He ought to just release his birth certificate. Different tone tonight. This is a mistake. It will marginalize him, and he's fallen for Barack Obama's trap. Barack Obama wants Republicans to fall into this trap because he knows it discredits us with the vast majority of the American people when we do.
All right, Mr. Rope, thanks very much. We appreciate it as always. When we come right back, it will be Miller time. The D